Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Yuri, also known as Starlord, and this is yet another part of our ongoing playthrough series of a game called Darkest Dungeon. This playthrough series is done on the second game difficulty, which means no turn restrictions, no time gaps that we need to be afraid of. This playthrough is also done without any sort of guides, except for the curios. For that purpose I used wiki for the interactable objects. And everything else is pretty much my own envision of how I see how things should be working. So you are free to agree or disagree with what I am going to be doing. The decision is totally up to you. I'm not going to judge you for that, and hopefully you are not going to harshly judge my decisions and my vision that I use in this playthrough. I hope you will have just as much fun and interest in this walkthrough series just as I do, because it is, in my opinion, interesting, and it also shows quite a lot towards newcomers to this game. They will see a lot of interesting stuff that they might utilize in their own playthroughs, should they decide to copy or partially or completely the strategy that I am using. It's okay. I mean, this strategy is working, and working with as few casualties and fails as humanly possible. It could have been less, but hey, when you are not using any sort of guide and this is your first playthrough of this game whatsoever, meaning you haven't played this game before, haven't managed to beat it, then obviously you're going to run into some sticky situation. I mean, even experienced players run into them. So yeah, relax, enjoy, have fun listening to my commentary, have fun watching the gameplay series, and we are moving straight into the game. The goal of today's stream is going to be triggering the infestation level straight up to high. Now, previously I have run into an issue that infestation level rises really slowly, and I was really curious about, well, what is the trigger for that to happen? And the answer that I found was basically infestation level will rise no matter like in what dungeon will you go. The infestation level is blocked by a time gap. So how big of this time gap is, I don't know. Last time when we had to trigger Vicant Infestation, it took me almost 4 hours of repeatedly going to different dungeons. I don't know what will happen now, how fast it will going to rise up now. The thing is, in our first attempt when we entered this dungeon, when they give you a free invitation, we already managed to find the boss. We of course couldn't have taken her down because, well, no buffs, no nothing, and I was kinda terrified of that. So in order for us to get to her, we'll need to get an invitation, and thus far invitations only procced on the highest level of infestation. And because of that, we'll have to just go on and on and on and on to repeatedly go into different dungeons. We will utilize that opportunity in order for removing negative quirks and locking positive ones for those who I plan to pick into the boss fight. So that's one plus that we are going to be getting. As far as for now, we will just gonna go with a squadron. It should help us out. Okay, I'm going to be using this sort of team here. My only concern is the front line. Who can be our front line? And actually, there is no one who can do that. Well, except for Houndmaster that I can put in there. And that's kind of the problem that I have with this level 4 squadron, that I don't really have a solid frontliner. Which is really a shame. And for some reason, Abomination doesn't have... his base skills do not really work the way I would like it to. I can always kind of transform with him and just give him trinkets. This trinket. Probably I should do that. Yeah, let's try something different, something that we haven't done before. So we'll give you this thing, and we will give you... There is no... Well, I can give him thing for melee skills. Let me check. This is melee. Yep. So pretty much all melee skills. Because of that, well, first I forgot to unequip trinkets. Yeah, one of these and one of those that gave critical and damage. As for you, well, you'll be... And I want to switch them a little bit, giving you more damage. More damage. Occultist. Well, Occultist can actually... Those are Crimson Cards. Things. Debuff stun. No, I need damage. For the most part, I would like to have as much damage as possible. Damage versus Unholy and... Maybe this thing, yep. As for you... Unholy Slayer Ring and... This thing would be great. Okay, so the party is set up. I mean, this is a short dungeon, so... Not much is going to happen there. Short veteran dungeons are not considered to be the toughest things you can encounter, but hey. And as in terms of what we are looking for here are going to be busts, crests, and money. Because everything else is kind of pointless. Okay, this should be enough. My biggest concern would be enemies like Ghoul, because everything else should get blown up pretty fast.
The halls of your lineage once familiar, now foreign.
Yeah, and immediately we're going to run into a Ghoul.
A singular strike.
I'll go for a stun, simply put it because we have no ways to stress heal for those guys, except for crits.
How quickly the tide turns.
Interesting. Well, sometimes you'll get stunned like that. No biggie.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Point of the matter is, like, this is not the best setup. This is probably one of the worst setup that I could have come up with, but yeah, here's the thing. I do not have a solid front line, so might as well utilize whatever I have.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
I'm gonna have to do some, like, party members in my roster. I'm gonna have to switch some party members. I mean, tossing some out and that stuff.
Well struck.
This is going to be done simply because there is another DLC that sooner or later we have to go there, and in order for us to get there, we will need level 2, level 1 characters.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
So yeah, character management, since I'm not using the mod which expands your roster size, and I have a lot of level 6 characters,
The light, the promise of safety.
this is going to become a little bit of an issue, especially if I will not gonna start addressing it now. I mean, I would have to build up parties no matter what. Like, I would need parties that will have like frontliners, healers, and all that stuff. And currently, I only have like one flagellant level 2, and I have no one else, so This is going to be a bit problematic, but it can be solved due to Stagecoach. Stagecoach does provide us with good characters that are leveled up. I just have to focus on low-level ones. Usually I focus on the high levels, and now I will focus on low levels more. So he can heal himself. He has a chance to heal himself. I believe it's a new one. So yeah, that's kind of that. As you can see, this team is really not much... like, it's kind of bad. Its synergy is wonky and doesn't really have the stuff that I would like it to have, but once again, I'm going to repeat myself that I'm utilizing whatever I have left.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
And once again, you run into situations like this, especially in the late game. Don't get discouraged yet.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Because chances are, you're still gonna be able to pull it off.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
And I want to test out like different setups, especially after going through the process of repeatedly bashing the Crimson Court. I mean, I even sort of rewatched our previous part, that it took me almost like one push in the dungeon took me like 2.5 hours. Yeah, I believe it was something like that. So 2.5 hours just to pretty much get
Another abomination cleansed from our lands.
towards the boss. We haven't cleared everything,
Gone, fiend.
but it's fine because we didn't actually need to clear everything. Our goal was to explore, but since we found a boss, I don't think that I should continue bothering with exploration. because there's nothing more to explore there. Well, as you saw, like, the money is not the interest of mine. Just simply because it's...
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
It's sort of pointless for me. And as in terms of gold, we already have a lot of it.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
And as far as I'm concerned, we had... For the most part, in those epic dungeons, we just thrown away all of the loot that we found. Because our goal there is to not look for loot, because that way you will prolong your journey into the dungeon by a huge margin. But it's rather just push for as far as possible. And we did exactly that.
The ground quakes.
We just pushed on and on until we ran out of necessary stuff for us to that would have given us the opportunity to move on. But I mean, 2 hours in the 2 hours in the dungeon that is epic one, that is on champion difficulty, that's a lot. And without casualties and without that other stuff, it's actually quite good.
Annihilated. Seize this momentum.
Okay, so we are done here.
The great ruins belong to us, and we will find whatever secrets they hold.
Once again, I am going to treat mostly
Our family name, once so well regarded,
those who will go for a boss.
decent folk.
This time around, I want to get rid of this lazy guy. And I actually want to see what Stagecoach didn't provide us with any of those that I need, those leveled up characters. I'm looking also for the healer Sainthood. Well, they don't really have a very troublesome debuffs on them, so then I'm just going to those guys there. Okay, this is good, despite the fact that, well, maybe not really good, but it's still, it is what it is. So what's in terms of leveling up? Penance Hall, 2 more to go. Sanitarium is leveled up, and pretty much what is remaining is Tavern, Survivalist, and Nomad Wagon. I mean, I leveled up Nomad Wagon quite a lot, but for the most part it's kinda iffy investment. I didn't see any sort of profit there. I mean, I can level it up. Let's do it like this. Here.
An increasing stockpile of curious trinkets gathered from forbidden places.
And let's level up Tavern like so.
Strong drink, a game of chance and companionship. The rush of life.
Yes. So for the most part it is going to be like that. We are just going to level up whatever is remaining, since we have nothing else to do besides that. Infestation level is still none. This means he'll go one more run into the other dungeon. We can go to warrants. Short warrants. We'll pick ourselves a Houndmaster, a healer. Let's go with those kind of level 5s. No. Let's go with level 6. Cove Ruins. I'm looking at... Well, she has a better sort of setup. Yeah, she has definitely a better setup. And I'm gonna pick myself a Flagellant here and also a Helion, probably. Yes, a Helion. So Helion, Flagellant, Houndmaster, and yeah, this is going to be our party. Even though he has Crimson Curse, it's fine as long as you have blood. As for you, I'm just gonna level up all of these. So yeah, that's that. Level up his weapons, his armor. Camping skills, I mean, we don't really care about that. It's not important since it's a short dungeon. What else? His skills. All they are good. They are good. Let's give it a shot. I'm also kinda tempted to put him into the 4th position and put a healer in the front. Well, let's see. I'm gonna give healer more healing, as well as... Well, for you, damage and... What does the eyeball give? Accuracy, speed. This thing is going to be better, and for you I'm going to give this. As for those guys... Okay, he is a damage over time sort of type, so... One of these will not gonna hurt him, as well as... HP? Where is this box? There it is. And as for you... I'm just gonna give you damage, as well as... Thinking about a second damage item. Because once again, I'm using Helion as a very tough damage dealer. -1 speed. No, I can't give her like double stress thing. You know what? Let's give her this thing. I'm trying to remember. Nah, they don't bleed there. They don't really use bleed there. So what, we're just gonna give her another damage trinket? Probably. Actually, no, we will give her this thing. I don't care about dodge and Helion. So yes, let's go with that. Everyone is set up. Yep. Let's get right into it. Like this. I hate Cove and Wilderness because you can get random diseases pretty easily there.
To prosecute our war against the swine, we must first scout their squalid homes.
Exploration of 19% rooms. So we will go here and just leave this room unchecked. Interesting. Oh, we also saw a map. I could have went to avoid this battle, but whatever. And I'm thinking... Arc... whatever. Oh, I was wrong. Brigand Raider do appear in regular dungeons as well, so... Brigand Raiders will do much more damage than the other ones. That's why I will just stun and destroy him with bleeds and stuff. Unfortunately, Helion did not one-shot this guy.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Yeah, well, we have to wait until his stealth is going to run off. Because we didn't bring any de-stealth mechanisms to help us out. Fortunately, he doesn't do much.
Therefore, broken.
which means we can
Maintain
just
the offensive.
obliterate him. Those big targets, usually what you want is to apply a mark on them. And as you can see, well, we have a tough frontliner. He also does quite a bit of damage. We have a bleed target. We have a stress dealer. I can just go with marking this guy, but first of all, well, let's actually mark him, because I am going to be planning to use Iron Swan on Cultist and aim her with the healer. This way she will die and won't be able to stress or push-pull any of our members.
Unforgiving.
Good thing that he does this ability, even though he is already at the back line, so it doesn't really do anything. And the purpose of us bringing Houndmaster here is actually quite simple.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
And the purpose of him here is he applies bleed, mark, and he does more damage against beasts. And as you can see, a subtype of this Swine Tower champion is beast. His main is human, his other one is beast. Thus I will going to benefit from the bonus damage against beast and bonus damage against mark targets. 52 crits.
The sharpened blade. This expedition at least promises success.
I'm thinking, should I even bother with this stuff? No. I mean, we are, for the most part, using pretty much only legendary trinkets.
Such blockages are unsurprising. These tunnels predate even the earliest settlers.
And oh, shovels, you'll need them. I can toss away food or money. I won't be using food to heal up, just for the hunger checks. I believe this thing, what it does. Yeah, it removes negative quirks. My wiki is closed right now, so not even gonna bother with opening it up. Since the game, if you correctly guessed, the game will show you like what exactly is the proper item that you'll need for the object that you already guessed. It's a convenient way for you to not waste more time. The only thing it will not going to tell you is what exactly does this object will do to you. So that's kind of thing that you have to memorize, or just have wiki constantly open,
But a victory nonetheless.
which is not really a good thing to do. And you have to train your memory somehow.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
I'm not gonna need dog treats, so might as well toss them away and busts. And bring them with me. The only problematic encounter will be against the spear-throwing swines, because they themselves are really tough enemies here. Good thing that we had surprise attack on those, because I want to get rid of this swine healer. He spreads diseases like
decimated.
very often. If he spits on you, you might get diseased. And I'd rather try to avoid getting diseased. I mean, I still will probably get a disease randomly.
The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it. Slowly.
Yeah, and as you can see, his speed is kind of high, so... Those things probably also spread diseases, I don't remember.
Give them no quarter. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Hopefully we ain't gonna get hunger checked. And those things I'm not even going to bother picking up, so yeah.
The twisting tunnels seem a little less impossible.
Yeah, we got a random disease. Kinda expected. Plus 20% damage of HP is... Yeah, for a healer that's pretty much a garbage.
Let the organ notes ring out from the abbey. The sisters are gathering.
Once again, I'm going to repeat that I have zero idea why would you give me... Why would you give me characters level 0 so far into the game? Really. So, here I'm gonna... get rid of one of the plague doctors.
The task ahead is terrible, and weakness cannot be tolerated.
I'm going to get rid of... I want to leave Musketeer. I'm going to get rid of... one of the Abominations. Yep. One of the Abominations, which is going to be you. I'm going to get rid of him.
Another soul battered and broken, cast aside like a spent torch.
And I am going to get rid of... Well, currently, how many? 2, right?
The raw strength of youth may be spent.
For now,
These
like
eyes hold
this.
the secrets of 100 campaigns.
It's pretty much self-explanatory why I'm doing this, and I have already explained. Given the fact that you kind of have to do that. I forget to lock in positive perks. So you're level 6, which is really nice. I already locked a couple of your trinkets, not trinkets, but your stuff. These are kinda not worth to even lock in. As if for you. Well, this dead blow resist I'm going to utilize. Sometimes they tend to just randomly get blown up. Not sure if 2% crit is actually worth. Yeah, for now, like this. So as our characters are healing up, infestation level is still none, which is kind of bad. Okay, so those are mediums. Mediums for veteran. This is long champion. The problem here is the lack of frontline, and I don't want to go into dungeon without a proper frontline. Okay, you know, I'm just going to run here. My squadron. I'm gonna pick up a healer that's not yet cursed. Yeah. Probably I'll even... I can't. Okay, so this is the squad. Squad team. I don't know how to fast trigger the infestation level. It's just... it's locked behind this wall that you can pass through it only after certain amount of time that we're going to pass, and until it does, you are pretty much locked. Shame that they've decided to go for this particular mechanic, because it does force you to do the stuff that you would normally not do, especially like... I think that I am prepared for the boss. It's just that game will not going to give me that chance, which is shameful. Even though I want to, I can't. So yeah, that's that. That's the stuff I have to deal with. Now, there is a lot of kind of skills that are interesting when it comes to Flagellant, but I don't particularly want to experiment. And that's going to be it when it comes to items, so let's go. I only, like, my only hope is that in the second DLC there will be no such weird mechanic when you have to just waste a lot of time simply
Wealth beyond measure,
trying to
awarded to
trigger
the brave and the foolhardy alike.
some kind of progress to occur.
A fortune waiting to be spent.
Rests are good, especially with the fact that we are utilizing them to upgrade stuff. Yeah, let's use a shovel for this wine crate. Mostly for the purpose of a campfire. Campfire will allow us to soothe the
Circle in the dark.
battles.
The battle may yet be won.
Yeah. Quite the general. If you have been following like my Crimson Court adventures, you'll see that that's pretty much the party that I've been using over and over and over again that did superb job in this dungeon. And those buffs are pretty much the buffs that I will going to use always when it comes to campfiring. Helion will smash faces with crits, and the rest will just support. Of course, I'm going to get surprised attack.
against. Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration. Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
For some reason we are starting to miss.
Decimated.
Finally. Mosquitoes can hit you with the thirst, no matter where your target is standing. Mosquito ability, like his thirst ability, hits. It's a single target ability that kind of hits front line, back line, everyone.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. Eradicated.
Once again, I see pretty much zero trouble when it comes to those enemy encounters. This could have ended much faster should we not get surprise attack. Unfortunately, we had been surprised, so
Their formation is broken.
suffering the consequences a bit. But once again, I'm going to tell you that
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
it's nothing threatening. Okay, I don't really need another campfire. I might use it if I will accumulate insane amount of stress for some reason. Okay, so those quest locations are there, which means I can pretty much skip this fight and move on. Let's see, yeah, we don't need shovels, so... And thus throwing away shovels will mean that we are not picking up why do you even touch this? Like, there's no reason for you to do that. I am going to emphasize the fact that I am managing to get rid of a lot of sticky situations, primarily due to the fact that I run stress healers with me as well as consistent AoE heal. This in return gives me a lot more room to maneuver. Because I am not really... Outside of crits, I'm not RNG dependent with this setup. And that's, to be honest, one of the best things. Unfortunately, my Jester, despite all his dodge, is not dodging. That's the kind of stuff I
Slowly.
don't want to see from him.
This is how a life is taken.
I mean, he is capable of dodging, it's just now the game will not going to let him do that.
Obliterated. Annihilated. Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light? Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Maybe we will going to pick up a fight there. I want to de-stress them. Yeah, so let's go down there. Also, do keep an eye on the triggers that say like wasting or that stuff, carving, wasting, or just Crimson Curse. You don't want your characters to die from you not giving them blood in the proper time.
Inspiration and improvement.
It is not advised to toy with the curse.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
After fighting Chevaliers for that much time, I am already kinda accustomed to the fact that they exist. They are troublesome enemies, but they are ridiculously common in this dungeon.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
I just want to get their stress to like 5. 5 or less. As you can see, Helion does a great job. Though, for the most part, I am using one skill on her.
But never hidden.
That is always pretty much the same. And that is her Bleed It Out ability. Because it does a lot of damage and it also bleeds.
The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving.
Yeah, and we have cleared this area. And somehow we got diseased, and a very bad disease. Yeah, sometimes game will just throw in your face those random diseases.
Tragic extent of my failings.
Get used to that. You'll see this thing happening a lot. Okay, so we will pretty much continue on locking and fortunately Leopard doesn't have good stuff that I want to lock in. Hard skin I would give actually one hard skin on you. Yeah, Warrior of Light. I want to see level 1. I think I will get rid. I have a cultist now, do I? Oh, we don't have any occultists of high level. I don't really want, but then again I don't. Okay, let's get rid of Grave Robber.
Turn yourself now to the condition of those poor devils who remain.
The thing is, I can't really justify, like, who do I really want?
Claiming communion with the divine. Madness.
I would want this guy though. Transfers Unholy. Yeah. There's also a thing that you can remove positive perks completely and try to find something better. Thing is, you'll need a lot of gold for that. Infestation level, man. Ooh. Fine. So be it. Well. I'll play your game, so to speak. It will take me a lot of time doing this, but Up until there is no other way of doing that, I am forced to repetitively do the same stuff over and over. Definition of insanity, that is. So, because I can't do anything about it, we will all be forced to sit and watch repetitive smackdown in Crimson Court. The fact is, this is not hard. It stopped getting exciting pretty much because it got repetitive really fast.
Decimated.
And now I'm kind of forced to do all this stuff again and again.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
And the fact is, I already learned the mechanics. I know what each and every enemy is doing. I know who is more threatening than the other. All of that stuff is well known already to me, because after so much time that you will going to spend in this dungeon, I'll be impressed if someone will not understand how exactly does every enemy behavior works. Oh, it can spawn 2 campfires. Oh, that's quite good. As you can see, they can aim your heroes with the thirst ability, no matter of enemy positioning or your character's positioning. Everyone is under the radar of the enemy. Despite kind of low chance of stunning, I am still going for those stuns.
Obliterated.
It's still useful, especially if it lands. If it doesn't land, well, it's kind of bad, but if it lands, why not? We are going to camp after this battle, so this stress will go away pretty fast.
Ground quakes. Eradicated.
This ability you have to watch out for, because plus 67% stress is not a joke. And most certainly do not want to get hit by a crit or by stressing ability after this after this debuff has landed on you.
A momentary abatement.
Either use medicinal herbs or try to rely on dodging.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy.
Thankfully nothing bad has happened, so we are still going.
Gathered close in tenuous firelight and uneasy companionship.
Once again, Oh. I failed. Okay. Well, I gave them protection, so...
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
I believe... Self-worship... No. She just does it. Seems like it. I have to kill at least like 2 maggots. Nah. It didn't happen, so yeah. Only one of them died. They can also apply disease, so that's why they are kinda scary.
Inspiration and improvement. A decisive pummeling.
Oh, they also stress you out.
Destroyed.
With so much enemies that I have encountered, actually memorizing
Creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
what attack does enemy do is remembering that whole information is kinda a serious thing. I really wanted to burn that down and get minus stress. Thank you, Jester, for ruining this perfect opportunity for me. Always appreciate it.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Also on the plus side, when it comes to crit compositions, like the one that I have right here, you are getting rid of stress fairly easily. Because there is a chance when you crit that either one target will reduce his stress or several ones.
The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving. If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
On the minus side with the crit composition, sometimes you will be relying on them to crit to do a good amount of damage. For example, with Helion, I really do rely on her critting with Bleed It Out ability, because especially when she starts to debuff her, because she uses that ability, it starts to... her damage, regular damage, starts to fall off significantly. So for that to not happen, she has to crit. But Mosquito is always threatening her with Crimson Curse. But yeah, as you can see, there is pretty much nothing that I am currently afraid of in this dungeon.
Is the weapon that cuts on its own.
My biggest concern, and pretty much the goal of today's stream, is to get this infestation going. It would have been nice to trigger the infestation, get the invitation, and just finish off, try to finish off with this DLC.
A singular strike.
But I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Sedated.
Judging from the amount of time that we needed to trigger
Slowly.
infestation previous time,
This is how a life is taken.
I really don't think that that's gonna happen. That's a bold thing to rely upon. I want to have scouting because I don't know where those wine reserves will be.
Curious is the trap maker's art. His efficacy unwitnessed by his own eyes.
Funny enough, with the amount of enemies we have actually slain in Crimson Court, the infestation level should not increase, but rather it should decrease, because there will be pretty much no one left alive after our expansions here. But no, doesn't work that way, sadly.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
And I really am not afraid of those enemies anymore. I mean, they are there, but whatever. After so much time spent in this DLC,
Precision and power.
it's like, yeah, try to impress me,
This
if you can.
expedition at least promises success.
Hey, let's use a second campfire, because why not?
Kindling is a goal without hope.
Never have I actually thought that in late game I will be just autopiloting my way through this DLC, especially on the champion difficulty. Seems like I would need to give him... an item that can raise up his bleed chance. I'll just ignore it. There's a lot of time with his AoE ability, he doesn't...
Masterfully executed.
It doesn't land, like the bleed effect doesn't land. Hopefully the stuff that I am doing, like those skills that I'm using and why am I using it, hopefully this is self-explanatory. If you would like to know more about why I decided to pick certain skills against the others, I can explain this to you. It mostly comes down to abusing weaknesses of the enemies in this dungeon. And those weaknesses are pretty straightforward. Their bleed resist is kinda low. Their blight resist is kinda high, so I'm not really aiming to bring anything with blight.
Carelessness will find no clemency in this place.
Oh, great. It just so happens that...
A powerful blow. Impressive.
I thought she would do 2 damage, so that he can die from bleed. I was way too naive. Finally, my healer also starts to crit a lot.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Healer's crits also do raise, lower the stress from those who receive that crit heal. Okay. Dungeon number 3 of today has been cleared, and again we get diseased. And again it's a very bad one, so... That Daredevil thing is actually good on Jester. I might want to lock it up.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
So they give us a level 6 Crusader. Good stuff. Then I'm going to dismiss you and
Those
get
without the
myself
stomach for this place must move on.
a level 6 Crusader. Thank you game. How generous of you. Highwayman level 1. We need a healer. We have a front, we have damage dealers. We would like to get ourselves a healer. Currently there is no. What's with the infestation? It's low. Okay, so we are on the right track. Because we are on the right track, it's actually good for us to continue doing what we were doing. And I can't toss him in there. Backtracker, steady. I don't know. Like, there is a lot of stuff, but nothing of this is really a huge interest. This thing can be good on Crusader. Wait, I cannot lock it up. I can only... Okay, like this. So... Yet in another dungeon we will go. Another short one. This may get tedious, and I'm sorry for that. But hey... It's just the stuff that I'm going to be doing pretty much always. Until... What did I just do? I unequipped trinkets. God damn it. Okay. Quickly apply that on them. Get your ones, and you'll get... What's his base bleed resist? It's 120. And that's what a... Actually, I would like to give him this thing. If there is a bleed resist, not bleed resist, but minus. That's bad. Man. I want to give him something that will boost his bleed chance, but it seems like currently I don't have anything, so I just go with the same stuff. Yep. And in another dungeon we go. Another one. Oh boy. I know I am kinda tired of doing the same stuff over and over again. And I can only imagine you who watch me are kind of, well, when's the fun part going to be? Answer is soon. How soon? Well, soon. Sometime soon. And for now we are just going to have to repeatedly raid Crimson Court dungeon.
Grievous injury, palpable fear.
Quite some heavy damage you thrown in my face. I don't think that that's going to stop me.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. A death by inches.
Yeah, so far, despite those few crits, it's not even remotely threatening.
The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving.
And besides, stress healing will do wonders.
Their formation is broken.
See, no problem at all.
Maintain the offensive.
That's why I am actually advise you, when you build a party composition... Why did I went that way? Because there is a quest location, okay. Okay, and what's this curio about? Nah, I don't need it. Put it into perspective. You see, like, how much enemy are stressing you here, and you see how much AoE damage they are doing here. Thus, you put those things together and you already kind of guess why the stress healing is important, why the stress healing is important, why the consistent AoE and single target healing is going to be important. It's not super super hardcore thing to do. And knowing this will help you a lot.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
This team setup is kinda threatening. Especially if you consider the fact that they can use the rapier ability and Chevalier can do a lot of damage. It turns out they will just going to transform with the thirst. It's a good thing that they are just
Annihilated.
pushing themselves into the mean grinder. And I don't have to worry about my Hylian not having a proper target to hit.
The blood quickens.
Perfect, my Flagellant will have a target to heal besides himself. One of the interesting things about Flagellant is the fact that outside of being a great damage dealer, a stress healer, he is also a healer in general. For a DLC character, he is quite a monster.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Perfect. Pretty much no stress at all. How nice. Less things for me to worry about. And low stress will allow me to go into yet another dungeon. Should I not receive some heavy negative quirks at the end of the dungeon?
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
And as you can see, like, one after another, I just dive in from one battle into another one. As far as this DLC goes, I was already mentioning a couple of times the difficulty of this DLC, that it is quite inconsistent, in that the champion level difficulty is actually easier than the veteran one. Maybe it's my sort of personal experience,
As the fiend falls,
but I see it like that. I see that champion dungeon is easier than veteran one. I shouldn't toy with this guy, especially with 167% stress on my gesture. Because by doing that, I will get punished severely should the stress ability or crit land.
a trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless. Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
It's okay. That's good, I want to lock it up.
They meet in secret, that none may know the horrifying depths of their enquiries.
I would like to lock this thing up. That's a lot of gold spending, but it's fine. And I would also like to put you in here. Pretty much these things, because here's the thing, plus 15 dodge, especially on bosses, this will help Jester to survive quite for quite a bit of time. Okay, I want to get rid of some of the trinkets that I will not, most definitely will not need. Turns out that's pretty much it for them. Well, those I don't know. Maybe I'll need them. Okay, we also have a leper here. I want to... Well, who... There's another problem. Who's our backliner? Right now we don't have a backliner. So I might get rid of Helion for the
Suffer not the lame horse.
Leper, and I am waiting for a backliner and a healer. Okay, we need 2 more of these. Let's trade. And our A bay is fully maximized. As well as this thing, but it's pretty much pointless. The things that are left are Tavern and Survivalist. And most part, oh, let's do that.
Strong drink, a game of chance, and companionship.
And knowing that for the Tavern and for the Survivalists, you pretty much need, like, for the most part, crests and portraits. And we do not need busts anymore, and we do not need deeds anymore. So those 2 items are going to, if we find any, we throw them away. Infestation level low, so I am going to pick myself another party that's pretty much the same, as it always is. Holy... how insane this already became, like... Same items, same heroes, same everything. Although actually, well, she has a Crimson Curse, right? Do I have a spare room here? Yes, I do. Where's another Helion? Where is she? I have another Helion. I want to throw you into the healing facility. Get rid of this bleed resist, and to give you... there is nothing to give you for now. So just remove that, and picking you up, giving you those 2 trinkets. Yay! Let's go! I think we'll need like 6 or 7 more of such runs. I will not gonna pick blood here. Actually, I will, just a couple. Maybe I'll find some hooded shrew so I can give him those things and get trinkets. And before we'll proceed, I am going to use this moment to say hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to the stream. My name is Yuri, also known as Terlord, and this is my playthrough of a game called Darkest Dungeon. This is my first playthrough of this game, first playthrough ever. It's done without using any sort of guides except for the interactable objects. This playthrough is also done on the second difficulty of the game, which means no time restrictions. And pretty much all of the stuff that I'm doing is the way how I see and how I experience the game myself. My own and personal decisions and stuff like that. For the most part, I am okay with you agreeing or disagreeing or copying this playthrough style, because it did work really good. It could have worked even better should I had more experience back when I started to play this game. I did some unnecessary mistakes. Now I know what exactly I did wrong and how could I avoid it. For the most part, I am pushing the idea of slow and steady wins the race in this game, which means no rushing, no leroying into the sticky situations in which you can lose your party members. I always try to go as safe as possible. That's why I have a very low amount of fails throughout this playthrough, and if you followed this playthrough, you already know why. That's why if you are looking for some omega low fail sort of level of game and gameplay, I don't think that you will find it here. I am very strict when it comes to skill distributions, and the way how I approach fights is on a very safe level. So as safe as possible to get myself as further as humanly possible. That's that. I will additionally try to give some helpful tips for a beginner player who has just picked up the game and wants to experience it without any sort of rage moments. Well, there will be rage moments no matter how you play it. It's just that I will try to lower that rage amount to a very low degree. So that's that. Relax, enjoy yourselves, and watch the entertaining content that I provide, and hopefully you will like what you are going to be seeing. And if you haven't seen previous parts of this playthrough, you can always revisit it on our YouTube page. Link to that is in the description below this Twitch video. So let us continue.
Ambushed by foul invention.
This party doesn't have anyone with Crimson Curse, so this is going to be a bit of an issue. Maybe, maybe not. As soon as we'll kill the boss, this Crimson Court disease will not going to affect us anymore, and we are not going to suffer from it.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
Once again, crits are starting to get rolling. And once the crit starts, the crit fiesta starts, your characters are receiving buffs that will help them to crit even more.
The ground quakes. Soothed. Sedated.
And I also like the fact that besides just raw damage, this party composition has crits, stress heals, and as well as huge bleeding, like a very huge one. And once again, all of those factors do indeed matter in this DLC.
The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving.
So, for the most part, the only thing that I'm not utilizing is pre-buffing. I kinda tend to forget about that due to the stress heal.
Obliterated.
And once again, even though my chance to stun targets is lower due to the fact that I am wearing a trinket that lowers stun chance and damage but gives more healing, I am still trying to go for stuns on those targets where I can apply it. Because if it lands, it's just gonna make your life easier. If it doesn't, well, you try it at least, and especially go for it when your team like is full HP, because you don't need to heal them when they are almost full health. So why not just try to go for some utility?
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
The biggest question though will be, how much time will it take me to trigger the infestation level? Because that's the thing I am looking for. I don't really care about anything else anymore.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Because I can't really trigger the story to proceed unless I going to find myself an invitation or two. Once again, those invitations are spawning pretty much only when the infestation level is high.
Trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood.
I don't think that I need a second wine crate. I mean, let's pick it up. For that, I'm going to throw away this emerald.
Precision and power.
Great. Please don't stun me. You. Screw you.
Blood quickens.
Oh, that's a first one. Never ever did they did so much damage. That I can tell you for sure. Never did they ever did 30 damage from just one spit. What is this super toxic spit that can kill you
Annihilated.
in almost one blow? They of course will going to just simply focus her.
Slowly, gently.
Why wouldn't they?
This is how a life is taken.
I didn't actually thought that I would need to include those spiders in my list of
And improvement.
troublesome opponents.
A time to perform beyond one's limits.
Well, I guess you always
Press this advantage.
find something new about the
No
game.
quarter. A moment of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
I should have given the other buff. That's what you call like autopilot. You
Wealth
basically
beyond
start
measure,
doing
awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
some unnecessary stuff. Okay, last quest location is here. Means we are going to go up and to the left. As far as the map tells us, there will be no enemies, so...
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
That's at least plus side. On the plus side. Yeah, and there is pointless to go there. Just double encounter against enemies. And besides, do not forget that our main objective here is basically trigger infestation. And since it's a short dungeon and since we are always pretty much running the same squadron.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
You are pretty much going to realize that it's more profitable. Okay, so here's our... Well, no, it's a cultist level 3. I don't want this. I want Vestal level 2. Actually...
It is done. Turn yourself now to the condition of those poor devils who
How
remain.
about that? This is going to be kind of better. He has quite good this one and this one. So might as well lock it up. Good. Okay. Okay, so those guys are healing. Can go further. It's still low. And now it's him. Why is it veteran all of a sudden? Okay, I'm gonna go into the crypts. Fine. I'm going into the crypts. And I want to test one thing out. The thing that I wanted to. wanted to test. Where is my second shield breaker? And I will need a healer. Yes, you please. Good. So this is going to be my team. Let me quickly level up you. Okay. In terms of camping skills, we are good to go. I wanna go into this medium one, just because we will be going for gold. My only and the biggest concern will be the snakes. Actually, no, I will go to short because this is a test drive of how this team is going to be working out. And I want to unequip trinkets. Okay, so healer gets this, Jester, Joel dodge stuff. One should move faster than the other one. And since we are going to be facing unholies, get this thing. I may give you for this. Now let's give them damage. Yeah, like this. So they will be jumping back and forth. This is going to be fun. I want to test this out. I wanted to test this out so badly. Yeah, like this. This should be enough. Because they do have a synergy, right?
The fiends must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
Oh boy. I'm gonna pulverize them to the ground.
A powerful blow. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. Impressive.
Though I probably should have just aimed for the bone bearer to begin with. thank God he's buffing the target that's already used his attack, so... Yeah, I probably should just kill him. Those two will die anyway, so I don't have to worry about them. Just gonna give them a couple of crit buffs and bada beam, bada boom. Easy.
Destroy them all.
And since he's in the front, he's only going to use his knife attack now.
In Radiance, may we find victory. Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Oh, a lot of gold, and we need it. I just want to test it out, and at least somehow this will going to spice things up a bit. Make it more enjoyable to watch. Let's go. I can toss this food. Will not need it. Hello, broski. Everything is okay. The stream has been going for a while, but for the most part we are just simply farming up. We are trying to get the infestation level up to high level so that we can finally start to proceed further into the campaign. And right now, as you can see, we decided to bring double shield breaker combo just to test it out.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
It looks great. Hopefully it will stay the same.
A faint hope blossoms.
We don't need busts and deeds. I've maxed out those buildings that needed those sorts of resources.
Ancient traps lie in wait, unsprung and thirsting for blood. A decisive pummeling.
Oh boy. Man, their damage, if they crit, it's almost like a Holy Lance level of damage. They just pummel them into the ground. And especially the greatest thing about that ability, it hits all targets, meaning that you can choose like from 1 to 4. It can hit front row, it can hit those who are way in the back, so...
Decimated.
Yay! The shield breaker combos.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
Finally, we are starting to toy with the new setups. Because I'm already like I'm tired of the Crimson Court setup that I'm using. Ooh, Madman. Let's stun him
Masterfully executed.
just to stay on the safe side.
A singular strike.
Yay. It's so fun to use them, actually.
How quickly the tide turns.
Ow. Just like I said, there is quite a strong synergy between them.
Precision and power.
And also, because they can get through protection, it's even better. Because now, as you can see, he has this 25% protection, and poof, he's gone.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
As if he was naked. Oh, that's a final room. Okay. In that case... I want to see you in those two curios.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
I like this team comp. I would have brought them into a long dungeon,
Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
but the fact is, I am still afraid of snakes.
Bones return to rest. Devils remanded to their abyss.
I don't know what last gap is. This is bad. Come on. Don't give me the minus damage one.
The fools make merry. Tomorrow they die laughing.
That's a new one also. It's interesting how they only started to give this a late game. After I beaten the main campaign, that is. Infestation level is still... still kinda low. And actually I want to go into yet another one of these. Yeah, he has this... Now I want to go there. And I don't have this belt yet. It's a new kind of a trinket. Let's try. Damage on the first round. Okay, it's still we should be able to. Let's just do it. Time to heal up again. Positive, negative works. Yeah, let's go again here. I just want to test out, like, give me a break. I want to have more fun from experiments rather than simply doing the same stuff over and over again. Because then again, this game is about experiments.
Must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
Okay, we can go straight here. Let's go to the right. Always to the right.
Carelessness will find no clemency in this place.
Ooh. That's interesting. Oh, and a damage one. Aha. Well, I'll negate that negative stuff that I got. Infestation low, right?
The blood quickens. A devastating blow. Continue the onslaught. Destroy.
Well, pretty much simple battle.
Obliterated.
No, I will pre-buff because we will get into a fight
Skill and purpose.
in this room.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
So sometimes those monsters will appear, but they are not those who we need.
Otherworldly corruption.
Wanna try to get rid of the bad guy, the big bad guy. Our only concern is that they aren't that tanky. Yeah.
Unnerved, unbalanced.
Ooh. Please let my healer attack. Oof.
The bigger the beast.
Yeah, their problem is that they aren't tanky. Especially the fact that I run double damage trinkets.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle. Decimated. Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
We won't need that many torches, that's for sure. Ah, Jester, you have the highest trap disarm chance. Don't disappoint me.
Masterfully executed. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
It's okay, I can bypass protection and guard, so... everything should be fine.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
One HP. Well, it gives me one more turn, which is good for stress healing.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Actually, I'm gonna get rid of portraits and just focus on the gold. Yay, now both of them has damage buffs. That's some good stuff.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born. precision and power.
Hey, give me those crits, give me those crowd control effects.
A singular strike.
Boom. Imagine if they actually, with this AoE attack, like they had not
Great is the weapon that cuts
2
on its
damage
own.
over time from the Blight, but 3. That one extra point of damage would have actually made quite some difference.
The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving.
I probably won't even need the campfire. Means no snakes. Do you have unique trinkets for both shield breakers? See, for the shield breakers I brought the thing that gives crit and damage, and the thing that gives damage versus unholy. And for this guy, since he's the first one to go, I gave him a quick draw charm for speed and crit at the first round, and once again a thing against damage and crit against unholy, because this is ruins and a lot of unholy type of enemies we will encounter. So it's really good that they have
Inspiration
those
and
trinkets.
improvement.
Well, not if they gonna leave 1 damage.
A decisive pummeling.
Yeah, they are melting them.
Well struck.
I'm so grateful that I have decided to actually go and experiment. Because it does work out quite well. I do get more of the damage, more of everything. A little bit of everything.
In Radiance, may we find victory. The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it. A death by inches.
Well, even medium champion ruins are kind of straightforward. But man, that shield breaker that was on the death's door, damn, that was scary.
This expedition at least promises success.
It was one of the scariest things I experienced. Well, that would be an over-exaggeration. Because it actually isn't.
Impressive.
when they are creating, they are melting them. Like, wow. Should they have been given like one more damage on that bleed? That would have changed things quite a lot.
Slowly, gently.
Because here they're alive because they have like one HP more, 1 or 2 more HP, and if it did 1 more damage, they wouldn't have any whatsoever.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Usually I've been using here a combination where I had Crusader with Holy Lance, where I had Lake Doctor or Abomination, where I had Jester. I used Highwayman here, I used Helion here with Breakthrough. There was so much things that I've been using before. And to me right now it's just more interesting. While I'm still trying to trigger the Infestation for already almost 3 hours. Come on. Seriously, what mastermind designed the fact that you have to spend so much time to progress through the game? I've decided to just go for experimenting. Because why not?
Annihilated. A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Unfortunately, no secret rooms, but we already got a lot out of this dungeon.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear. More bones return to rest. Devils remanded to their abyss.
This is a bad thing, because my healers don't hit in melee, so...
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
Another Houndmaster, but this Houndmaster is... I already have 2, I don't want more. Yeah, I don't want more. What's with the Infestation? It's still low. Well, I guess we won't be able to do it this time around. We can go with Short Champion Cove. Thing is, we don't actually... Nah. We'll go again with Ruins. Yes, we'll go again with Ruins. We will be farming money. Okay. That was that, and we need to put there one more character. Let it be you. I'm wasting so much money, but to be honest, I don't really care. As much as I waste, I get pretty much all that stuff back. Here, let's upgrade bar. Move on into another medium champion, Cove. Not the Cove, but Ruins. Before we do that, I would like to use this opportunity to say hello and welcome everyone to the stream. My name is Yuri, also known as Terrorlord, and this is my walkthrough series of a game called Darkest Dungeon. A game which I, at first back in the day, like way before, when I dropped it because I thought it was too difficult and unfair. Now I changed my mind drastically. The game is actually kind of fair, and to be honest, if you are taking a slow and more careful approach, you will be way better prepared and your chance of losses will decrease by a huge margin. I hope that those who are watching will find this content interesting, because here I try, even though this is my first playthrough and this is a playthrough without any guides, I still think that newcomers to this game might find this playthrough interesting, enjoyable, and might find some cool tips and tricks that I will point out, and maybe they will also decide to utilize the same strategies that I'm using and will try to use them in their own playthroughs. Those strategies, I would have to say, like, if you are a careful person and you don't want to just bomb rush everything, like every content in this game, if you will take it slow and steady, you will realize the fact that this approach that I'm using is, although it's slow and very on the safe side, it prevents deaths of characters and it prevents failed attempts in the dungeon by a huge amount. So in case you would like to go for that approach, Be my guest. I am going to only encourage you to try it and check it for yourself. Especially considering the fact that in this game nothing rushes you. If you are playing on the second difficulty when you are not time restricted, nothing rushes you to do those unnecessary mistakes. Take your time. That's it for the intermission. Hopefully you are enjoying what you are seeing, enjoying the commentary. Relax, chill, and enjoy the stream as we continue on trying to triggering this infestation level to go way up to high. Okay, this should be enough. Yeah, let's go. This is like what? Dungeon number 7 of today's episode.
Pace out the halls of your lineage.
And we are still at the low infestation level. It takes a lot of time. Like for those of you who wanted to see me fighting against the Countess, I too want to, but as you can see, I don't think that in an hour we'll raise this infestation level way up to high. It's just what it is. I can't make it go faster.
A fortune waiting to be spent.
I believe we are pretty much like... The only thing that is left for us to do is to trigger infestation level up to high, get the invitation, go and kill the boss, and I believe it's going to be the end of
The promise of safety.
of the first DLC. And the only thing that is going to be left for me after that is to smash the second DLC.
Match is struck. A blazing star is born.
But as far as you see, every time you want to make the game like go further, immediately you are going to hit the brick wall, which is called infestation level, that just won't gonna rise.
Confluence of skill and purpose. Eradicated.
I too want to get it over with this DLC and see what's the next DLC going to provide me with.
The abyss returns even the boldest gaze.
Don't really care about that howling ability, because it's only a little bit of stress,
Prodigious size alone does not
which won't do a lot, especially with the amount of crit we are
seize this momentum. Push on
throwing
to the
into
past.
the enemies.
That devastating blow.
Oh. Alright. Missed. If it would have hit, that would be really nice. It didn't, so... And really, on the plus side, when you'll meet the armored foes or foes who will try to guard, shield breakers will get rid of them very, very easily.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
And as you can see, I'm going for stuns, for stress heals whenever I can. By preventing an enemy from attacking you, especially at the later stages of the game, later dungeon difficulties, you are capable of winning yourself a turn of basically a turn of action.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
So we need to explore 90% of the rooms, which means one room can be
Imaginations spring to life
left unchecked.
with a singular purpose. Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home. As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted and purpose is made clear.
We can allow ourselves to not pick up some of those
If only treasure could staunch the
crests,
flow
because we do have a lot of them.
worldly corruption.
140, something like that. It's also great that we built all the mandatory buildings and done all of the upgrades.
A decisive pummeling.
This does give us a lot of bonuses.
As the enemy crumbles. Slowly, gently.
The only ones that are left, as far as I can see, are for the second DLC. Thus, we won't be able to beat them, to build them
Preventing passage.
until we actually reach the second DLC. Which again, just like I said before, I'm the kind of person who likes to do one step at a time.
Masterfully executed.
Which means I'm going to finish one DLC and then I'm going to tackle the other one. Just like with the main campaign, I finished main campaign and then I went for the DLC. This prevented me from dealing with the curse mechanic, dealing with way more monsters than you would have to deal with when you play just for the main DLC itself. Like, I mean, the main campaign, and then go for the DLC. There is no need to rush.
Sedated.
Also, it seems like interesting thing that I don't know, but I don't really think that you can actually beat the main game and 2 of its DLC on the 3rd difficulty in the 100-week period. I really don't think that it's possible. Correct me if I'm wrong, but with the amount of time you'd have to spend grinding, no, it's not gonna happen. I don't see it being even remotely possible.
A singular strike. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
You have to watch out for those crossbow skeletons, because they have high crit chance and high damage in general.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
You'll feel that when they will going to crit you.
Victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Yeah, double shield breaker setup, just exploding the ruins. Should they also had like good works, this would have been even better. I'm not touching bookshelves, piles of books and all that stuff, and the reason why I don't touch them is because most of the time,
The great ruins
most of the
belong to
time,
us, and we will find whatever secrets they hold.
most of the time, they will give you a negative quirk or a stress.
Our estate was the envy of this land.
Once again, Fanatic will going to hunt us. Okay, level 2 Occultist. But I want a level 2 Vestal. No, I want a level 2 Vestal. Or level 1 Vestal. Just give me at least one of those characters.
They must learn more than brutal bloodletting. They must learn to survive. Alone in the woods or tunnels, survival is the same.
Almost.
persist, and overcome.
Okay. What's with the medium? Aha. And we can go into the short dungeon, which we will do. He starts to accumulate that. Can I do a switch with healers? I can, and I will. Because I want to get rid of her negative quirks that she got. For that I'll take these out. You will go here. And we also need to put someone else in there. Can't really find like a good target to focus on. Well, this Luminous is good. Manslayer. Nah, I will leave it at that. I will just remove one negative work from my level 6 character. Okay, so that's that. Let's embark. Here, short dungeon, whatever. I bring you out and I give you the same sort of trinkets. Okay, this is enough. Way more than enough.
The fiends must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
Maybe we'll be lucky and maybe we will find an invitation, but
Otherworldly corruption.
who knows? Nice buff for the damage straight away. Immediately goes towards one of our shield breakers. Also, one of the next classes that I want to kind of experiment would be how should I call her? Arbalist or Musketeer. That's why I'm not throwing her away from my roster. Even though I would have wanted to do that, I still want to see, is this character like worth my time and investment?
Spirits are lifted and purpose is made clear. Impressive. Let's strike.
Nice. 3 down in like two attacks.
Is the weapon that cuts on its own.
For a champion level dungeon, that's insanely valuable.
Press disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
Value City. And it's a pretty much like it's pretty easy. The only enemy that we haven't kind of encountered here would be Bone Commander. This enemy is sort of troublesome,
Death. Unforeseen. Unforgivable.
especially if he crits, and he tends to crit. Single target crit, AoE crit.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Yeah, but for the most part, I got the hang of this setup.
Such a
I
terrible
went
soul
into
cannot
a
be left
couple of
unanswered.
short dungeons, couple of long dungeons. At least in Ruins, I realized its potential. I could also go and test it in Cove.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
But I don't really think that I need to do that. Besides, for the most part, money is our concern.
Now it must be carried home.
Okay, I'm just gonna chug the holy water to free the inventory space, and this will help in the battle that we will encounter here. The only downside about shield breakers are the fact that they aren't that
The ground
tanky.
quakes.
Their dodge chance is above average, but not as high as, let's say, for example, Houndmaster or Jester with my trinkets on him.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
But it's still a good character, well-rounded and valuable. A character that can really carry you through
As the
places where enemies will be vulnerable to blight.
room by room, hall by hall, we reclaim what is ours.
They start to give us heavy negative
Curiosity,
diseases.
and obsession. My
Thus,
mark
they kind of show us
damnation.
you should stop running in there, at least for now. which is exactly what I am going to be doing. I'm going to listen to what the game is going to tell me. And for now, I'm not gonna bother with the stress locks. Like, not the stress locks, but that other thing. Disease removals? Not disease, negative quirks. I'm not gonna try to lock them down because I'll need some money. I'm going to bring another team composition in Ruins, which is going to be another healer, which is going to be Crusader. Where is my Dismas? And the last but not least, can I put so that I can go with Plague Doctor? It's either Plague Doctor or Jester. You know, let it be Jester. So I'm going to put him here. Ideally... So, ideally I give my Crusader 8 speed, and let's see. So, his speed would be 5 plus 8, which is 13. He should move faster than the Jester. And that's what I want him to do. I want him and Highwayman should move after the Jester. This way we won't... Ideally we don't... We are not going to... We are not going to suffer through the bad rotation. You need range skills. Actually, you need this and this. Crusader needs crit thing, as well as this thing. And healer, once again, giving her what she needs. Okay, and we will go here. Another short dungeon, ruins. Shouldn't be that problematic, even though we brought a different squadron. I should be fine. The Holy Lands with everything. Why did I... No. I messed up. In terms of provision, I yet still kind of don't know the exact amount of stuff that you need, so sometimes I overshoot it, sometimes I undershoot it. It's fine. it's not the end of the world if you bought, let's say, 1 or 2 more anti-venoms or bandages.
Pace out the halls of your lineage once familiar, now foreign. Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
And once again, we are
Of safety.
bringing a lot of damage trinkets.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
I have to somehow deal with Bone Bearer. Those damage buffs are very troublesome. Especially once they start to crit, I'm going to feel it quite a bit.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
And it's pointless not to kill him, because he can basically resummon those who you killed if they are undead.
A decisive pummeling. Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
And as you can see in the temple of which we used to kill enemies is much slower now.
Decimated.
Due to obvious reasons.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood. Soothed, sedated, eradicated.
But yeah, there shouldn't be any problems here whatsoever. Like, absolutely. It's not the first time that I brought such a setup.
Destroyed.
And I brought them into champion dungeons as well, so they are capable of doing the job. I'm going there just to explore, because this is the exploration task dungeon, which means you'd have to explore. For some reason I only have 1 shovel left.
A blazing star is born.
Didn't I put 4 shovels? That's weird. Let's hope that one shovel is going to be sufficient for the rest of the dungeon. And it does seem like Shield Breaker also can think. Shield Breaker's damage does seem higher than Crusader, even against Unholy, which is interesting. Especially considering that his highest damaging ability should do like a ton of damage against Unholy type.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
Yeah. Even champion dungeons right now are starting to be more straightforward. Just rinse and repeat the same tactic that you've used like a while ago and you'll be good to go. That, for some reason, that happened. And I don't really know why.
Gnawing uncertainty. The birthplace of dread.
I mean, by the mathematical perspective, this is weird because in terms of numbers, it's Crusader who should go before Jester. I even put special trinket on him to make it so that Crusader will always go before Jester. Don't tell me that this is also an RNG based thing. Because then I would have to, I don't know, recalculate my approach.
Has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue. Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Okay, so I'll toss holy water and I'll pick more gold. Rest can wait. Speed 13. Speed 13 now. How did he get... But before he... Fine. Wait, but now my highwayman won't be able to attack. Bless you, RNG. Now I wasted 2 turns with my highwayman.
Formation is broken.
Finally. Now when they will use their bayonet jabs on him, they won't do much damage, but he will just crit them down. Time to stress heal. We are almost at the end of the dungeon.
Continue the onslaught.
Yay!
Destroy them all.
Might as well just pick this up. And it's kind of pointless for me to just cast Finale just straight from the beginning, because then it won't gonna have the... It won't be buffed enough, so it will just go to waste. Remember, the Finale can only be cast 1 per battle, so if you are willing to use it... Why did I went for stun on a 240% chance of resisting target? Well,
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
now they will not have this passive buff that gave them more damage, 25% more damage.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle. Diminished.
Nah, I like the shield breakers combo here better than this one that I'm using right now. It's more on the damagey side.
Masterfully executed.
I was looking at stress bars to decide whether to stress heal or to just buff, and seems like stress heal is much better here. Not the stress heal.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Portraits. I don't really know. Maybe like this. Though I should have thrown away Citrine. God damn it. Once again. Miscalculations. Misdecisions. It was just a pile of books.
The shifted corridors and sloped walls of our ancestry are beginning to feel familiar. They are arrive with the east wind. A torrent of whirling doom.
No, thank you. I don't want level 0s. Have them yourself. How much of an infestation level? Medium. It's still medium. Okay, we will go into the Crimson Court then. I don't even know, like, what should I get rid of? Those things aren't that mandatory to get rid of. Oh, Flagellant, maybe, because I don't want him to flagell for stress relief. Okay, we are going even further. This time around, we will be going towards our beloved, quote-unquote beloved. Actually hated Crimson Court. Right, there's pretty much no chance to find the invitations when the infestation level is medium. It blows my mind. As soon as you hit high, they're everywhere. On medium, no. They are not existent. Okay, where's my jester? There he is. And I want a healer with me. Yes, you please. This already gets repetitive pretty fast. And now more damage. Yep. I might as well name this part like yet another chill farming session. For the most part, nothing actually happened. We were just farming.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home. Destroyed.
For those of you who have beaten this DLC, how long did it took for you to beat the whole thing, like whole of this DLC? Have you went through the same procedure as I am right now?
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Obliterated. Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
To me, it's not even like... It's not challenging or hard, but it's rather just...
A handsome reward.
They give you...
Well performed.
Back in the day, I was pulverized with the Darkest Dungeon
A brilliant confluence of skill and purpose.
itself, because there they didn't give you learning curve at all, and just you were left with, like, if you fail, you will get punished really severely. Here they give you such a vast learning curve that you already know what to expect. You'll expect the Jester will stop dodging for whatever reason. Just gonna eat the whole damage that flies in his way.
Annihilated.
You'll also get used to Chevaliers with their annoying damage. That can pretty much, if you will be not careful enough, they can decimate you very fast.
Decimated.
Just like I'm decimating those enemies, the same thing can happen to you. I believe we'll need like 2 or 3 more runs to proc the high infestation, then 1 run to find ourselves some invitations, and then hopefully
A singular strike.
we will be able to beat the boss. I'm not quite sure about that,
Precision and power.
but I'm hoping for that to happen. Maybe even faster.
advantage. Give them no quarter.
Yeah, this thing is highly resistant to blight or bleed.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Fortunately, my team can still handle even those monsters.
Their cursed champion falls.
Because the crit chance is tremendous with this party.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light? Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood.
We can even just go for a buff here.
A spark without kindling is a goal without hope.
To make fights even more easier. As far as I can see, we have seen pretty much every single
Confidence surges as the
enemy
crumbles.
that we can encounter. We saw all the skills that they can do. And I'd have to say that the thing that I liked is that the fact that they have
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them.
3 or 4 skills for one forms most of the enemies, or at least half of the enemies, and the other half only has like one form. But for the most part, I like the fact that when they kind of transform, their skills are changing as well. When they transform like this, they will have a different set of skills, and you also have to take that in consideration when you fight enemies in this dungeon.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle. This expedition at least promises success.
A lot of gold. Well, I take it. Why not? Give me more. I'll find a good way to utilize it.
Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Quest complete. And here's a disease in my face. A very bad one also. And a... I wouldn't say bad, well, kind of bad because he is not the direct damage dealer, he is the more of a damage over type one, so I'd prefer dodge over that. And that damage will not boost the damage over time fact, so...
There is a great horror beneath the manor. A crawling chaos.
It's still medium. It's still medium. All right. No, his negative quirks are not that bad. This thing is bad. Great. Can I get myself a Vestal level 2? I can't pick a Vestal level 1. I'm probably gonna get rid of the Musketeer. Yeah.
The task ahead is terrible, and weakness cannot be tolerated.
Okay, so can we level up something here? Yes, we can. What about here? Survivalist final level. Yay, we did it. Only a tavern is left to upgrade.
All manner of diversion and dalliance await those who cross the threshold with coin in hand.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty much it for today's stream. Gonna end it a little bit earlier than like 6 or 7 minutes earlier than what I planned to. Thank you for the following, Cyan Madness. I hope you enjoyed the content. Also, thank you for the following, Zach Eteki. Thank you, everyone. I will hope to see you all on my next stream. In case you've missed previous parts of this playthrough, or you want to just revisit this part, or all the previous parts, or some of the previous parts, you can always do that by clicking on the YouTube channel link. There you will find it all. Additionally, there will be some edited videos. Currently there are videos for Grim Dawn. If you are interested in that game, there is also a playthrough of that game there. And some edited videos for it. Later on there will be edited videos for Darkest Dungeons as well. Those helpful videos for the beginners who just started to play this game. Once again, thank you everyone. Thank you all. Subscribe, like, share, comment if you want. And additionally, like subscribing to Twitter or Facebook will allow you to know the information firsthand, so that every possible change or everything that we'll be planning to stream or make a video about, you will know about it firsthand. If you really like the content we provide, you can additionally click on the Patreon link that is below the Twitch video. There you can see that those who are willing to support us with certain amount of money will get perks and bonuses. all of those investments will go directly into improving the quality of streams, quality of live changes for the streams that will make the content that you like even more enjoyable and even more entertaining. Once again, thank you everyone. I wish you all the best. Have a nice time, and I will see you on the next Darkest Dungeon stream. Have a good one.